Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another video made by me, Fraser, as we carry on with our theme, our videos that we've been doing with regarding doing flights with these UK regional airlines that are now no longer with us. These two airlines that have recently just gone into administration. We've done, as you know, we've done Blue Air flights, Blue Island, a couple of Blue Island flights, and we're currently doing some Eastern Airways flights. And our recent flight was from Teesside over to here to Cardiff, and we are going to head on up to Aberdeen, which is like their main sort of hub. Most of the flights are centered around Aberdeen, and then they go basically like a spider's web out to all the routes that they used to do, like to Wick, Stornoway, up to Sunborough, up to the Shetland Islands. They did a flight out to Norway, and then through sort of central mid-easts of England and down to Southampton. So yeah, we will do our flight up to Aberdeen, and we will probably end this little segment with Eastern Airways at Aberdeen, their main base. So we'll get in and we'll get started up. I've left it in hotel mode, as you remember, because my previous flight, I had everything turned off, but the batteries went dead on us, which is, yeah, just one of those, I don't know what the trigger is for that, but yep, it's really annoying when you're trying to do a whole lot of multiple flights and that happens. So as I mentioned a few times, I do hope that the developer fixes that bug, and I do hope that third-party developers, when they have simulated battery, even just default aircraft, there should be a little toggle or something just to reset the batteries again, because it's nothing. It's fun to be simulated. It's fun. It's, you know, it's like, oh, the batteries are dead. Oh no. And then you can just like, it'll just be handy if there's like a little button to charge the batteries instead of having to reset your whole entire game, because in real life there would be a little, I can imagine there'd be a little tug that would come out and charge up your batteries. Or mind you, it'd probably have to take out the whole new battery, and then that case that would be equivalent of resetting the whole game. But yeah, it's not quite real life, and it would be cool if we could just have a little button so we can charge up the batteries again. But hey, that's life at the moment. But we are here and we are in the now, and we will come into here and we'll load up our next flight plan that I've got in SimBrief ready and waiting, which will be this one. And we will get the aircraft all started up. Get it all planned out. And we'll head on back up to Aberdeen. So we're going to be cruising up. We'll make that 18,000 feet, but we'll go into our data page. We'll just realign the satellite, the GPS. We'll go to return. We'll go flight plan in it. We'll enter in our flight plan, where we're going from EGFF / EGPD, which is Aberdeen. And we will execute that. And while we are waiting for ATC to give us which runway we are going to use, we're going to scroll this on up to 17,000 feet, was it? Yeah, 18,000 feet. Sweet, so we will now go to our airport, select runway 30, and we're going to use this BCNA departure, execute, and we'll go into where our flight plan is. It's a bit of a long one, so we'll get that going. So from BCN, we're going to go to Airwave P69 to DISM. And then from DISM, we're going to take in 864 to AVTIC. And then from AVTIC, it's another airway N38 to Noken. And then from Noken, it's P17 to Pole. And then from Pole, it's another airwave to 601 to Gris. And we'll have to go to the next page. I think we're just going to have to execute that actually. Go return. Go return. What's our next waypoint? From Gris, we're going to take P600 to ADN. What's happening? I'm just going to clear that. What am I going to do? Because it's weirdly on a different page, I think. So Gris, Airwave, P600 to ADN. And that's our flight plan all set. We're going to go return. We're going to actually just go straight to data. We're going to go to back into the init. We're just going to confirm our cruising altitude of 18,000 feet. Then we'll go to our weights page. We'll load up our aircraft. So our block fuel is going to be 25. So we'll just scroll that on up to thereabouts, and our total gross takeoff weight is going to be 23.9. Quite a heavy flight on up to Aberdeen. That's going to be perfect, and then we'll go and we'll just enter in our fuel, which is 2500. Actually, it's 2556. And then we're going to work out our zero fuel weight, so 22,333 minus 2556 equals 19,777. And that's all matched perfectly, so we don't need that anymore. We could enter in our reserve, so it's going to be 400 kgs of fuel. Sweet, so that is our key part of the flight plan done. I will go to our performance page. We'll just enter in our trans altitude of 6,000 feet. And then we'll go into the view the forecast weather, so that's going to be 10:22 for our QNH. And our trans altitude 6,000 feet. And the winds is going to be 300/12, and I might just put in 15 for the gust. Cool, that's our flight plan sorted. We'll close up the doors, go through this checklist. It's still on the parking, so we'll just clear that, and we'll get our request for pushback and start, and turn on our beacon lights, turn on all of these emergency lights, turn on our probes, turn on the fuel pump. We'll get this all set for our engine start, and we'll come in here and we can now go through our checklist, and we'll reset our fuel, confirm our takeoff data. We'll just leave that up so we can enter in our trim. Actually, it's pretty much bang on, so we don't need to worry about that. We've done all of that, so we can tick that off, and we can now remove the chocks, remove the parking brake, call up the tug, and we can now start our pushback, and we'll just get our engine started. And we can go ahead and release the prop brake. We don't need it anymore, so that can turn off, and we can just select this to off. All of our engines all started, and we'll just stop right there. Don't think our prop brake release worked, did it? We'll try that again. Hydraulic brake, turn off the brake, close the door. There we go, they're all operating now. We can now go to auto. We can now put up some of the throttle to get that power up. And we will request our taxi. Select flaps 15 before takeoff. We'll just check all of these off. Right, we'll release the brake and we'll head on out to our departure runway. We'll just confirm our takeoff config. Seems pretty good to me. We'll just go ahead and clear this checklist. Gone a bit too far, so we'll just clear that, and we'll just enjoy the view as we taxi on out. Unfortunately, there's no taxiway symbols. I've got a conflicting mod in my game, so I'll fix that. At some stage we'll come back to Cardiff and with one of those 737s or Airbus as we depart on a very chilly morning here across the UK. I don't think we need any of our anti-ice sign. What we will do is we'll go for a packs off takeoff, Doesn't make any much difference, I don't think. Right, we'll just use this one here, which is what they've given us. Strobe and landing lights can all come on. This time we'll get clearance to take off, so we don't mess it ready for takeoff, so we don't mess up the little algorithms there. We'll release the gust locks, and we'll just go select that notch there, that little white marker there, and away we go. Can rotate now. Make sure you don't strike the back end, which is very possible with this aircraft. And I forgot to put this into FM mode and go heading, navigation and indicated airspeed and VNAV. I'm just going to turn on the autopilot. Flaps can now come up. We'll enjoy the view flying out of Cardiff here. And we will go into climb mode. And it's just really interesting how you got two airports so close to each other, and basically, I mean, if you weren't really paying attention, you could easily get confused and head on to this airport here, which is an Air Force base, but it's also where a lot of aircraft are stored up here. When we went for a little trip around here, there's quite a few different aircraft, including Asian Airlines A380 getting broken up here, so this is where some aircraft do come to die here. Right, we'll turn on our packs. And we'll just go outside and enjoy the view as we start banking to the left here over the Welsh countryside. We've done these two. We'll go into standard pressure. We'll just tick off these two. We'll turn off the passenger signs. Landing lights and taxi lights can now come off, and you guys can sit back and relax and enjoy the flight back up to Aberdeen. We'll see you guys very shortly. Welcome back, folks. I hope you enjoyed that flight up the country, and we've been given our clearance for runway 16, so we are now going to go into... We're just going to tidy it up a bit. We won't do that transition thing, but we'll set it up for runway 16 finals, so none, execute, so that's, we'll clear the discontinuity there, like so. We'll get our data for what we need to enter in for our runway 16. Will be course. We'll set the course now. We'll just go to we'll just sync our heading. We'll just go to heading briefly, and we'll select that to ILS, and we'll just go and enter in our course, which is going to be 159. And we'll go back into the our nav mode. So I select it back to FM, and we'll go to make sure we reselect our nav, and then we'll start scrolling back the altitude as we're getting close to our top of descent, and we are going to go down to 2,500 feet. And we'll click on VNAV just to arm the VNAV path. And we'll just pull back the throttles just a smidgen, and we'll now enter in our ILS that we're going to be using, 109.9. We'll enter that in like so, and now we'll enter in our minimums, which is going to be 400, which was already set, and we're going to enter in our QNH is going to be 24 at the moment. Sweet, so we've set that, and we will just update change our arrival settings. We'll clear that. We will just going to go into flight radar and just see which parking bay our prop aircraft use. So we'll see if parking bay, actually you're just going to use 13, but 12 is where I want to be, so I'm going to apply that, and we'll go through and check off this checklist. And I don't know if you can really do much with that approach. Alright, we can turn on our seatbelt signs, and while we're up here we'll just turn on our landing lights and taxi lights, so we can now go through and tick off that checklist. And we'll just clear that. And yeah, we're pretty much all set for our approach. Nothing else we need to do. So it's now been changed. QNH is now 22. And we've been given a vector to runway. We've been given a vector to 020. Click on heading mode. And we probably should turn on the turn on a bit of anti-ice. And I think that's all set up for our, we're all set up for our approach. Looks like it's going to be a sort of a pretty decent day there in Aberdeen. Looks like there's a plane just taking off. And just having one more look just to make sure everything is all looking good. So we've got some anti-ice on, we've got all of our lights on, our seatbelt signs has been switched on. We yeah, we're pretty much good for our landing. Right, we're going to turn left to 005. Turn left 340. And we're going to decrease our speed down to 1880. Right, turning right 070. Right, coming on our base leg now onto final approach. So we've got 2,500 set there. We're still descending. Alright, we've basically been given clearance to capture ourselves on the ILS, so we're just going to go select heading 115, and we'll go into, we'll just go armed approach now. Our glide slope's being captured. We're just gonna, we've been given instruction go to our minimum approach speed, so that basically means we're just gonna slow right down, select takeoff, put these forward. We're just gonna clear this whole checklist. Right, we're gonna deploy that stage of flaps and get the speed all the way back down to 120. Bit of a cloudy day, bit of a very misty day here. Hopefully that aircraft can see why they're giving us minimum approach speed, because there's the aircraft on final approach there, so hopefully that disappears. Just one final check, make sure everything looks good. Can we see the runway yet, guys? I can just make it out there, but hopefully the lights will take over. We'll go outside, have another nice little look outside before we land this aircraft. Just keep that speed up just a little bit. And we're going to turn off our autopilot, turn off our yaw dampener. We're going to do the rest ourselves. Cool, clear to land, perfect.
Approaching minimum. $200. Minimum. Minimum. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
And touchdown. That was a nice gentle touchdown. Keep that nose wheel onto the center line. We can probably pull back a bit of speed, engage a bit of reverse thrusts. And where is the taxiway for this airport? Right at the end here. Alright, we'll start the clock. And we'll power down these throttles like so. Put them down to that auto position. And we'll clear these checklists. We'll go to our map. I'll put some brakes on now. Flaps can come up. And we can now exit the runway. Landing and strobe lights can come off. And here we are, folks. Basically our last leg of the day, of the session, and of this aircraft. As we pay our respects to our UK's regional airlines that have unfortunately gone under, and with it, that would be the end of our flight for this with this aircraft, with this airline. Just going ahead and turning all of these off. Right, and we will feather out engine number 1. How long has it been? Yeah, it's been close enough. Minute and a half, so we'll feather that off. We'll turn off our flight directors. Oh, we'll put our gust locks on. And if this was Microsoft Flight Simulator 24, there'd be nice track marks in this frost here. And that must be the flight that landed earlier, I do believe. Better not be taking my park now. Right, we can go ahead and we can now turn off engine number 1. I'm just clearing these error messages. And that's our engine number 1, that's fully shut down, so that's perfect. And we use a bit of differential braking just to bring that around a bit quicker. And we're looking for gate 12, I believe it was. So this one coming up, we can turn off our taxi light. And this will be us right here. Careful not to come to a complete stop, otherwise it will be very difficult to get going again. Keep that momentum going. And we'll just slowly tap on the brakes. And slam on the brakes now. Oh, why isn't the brakes working? Oh, it's probably because of that fault with having your throttles all the way down. You lose hydraulics. That's fine. Right, the chocks can come on. And we can now go ahead and feather out this engine here. And we'll engage our ground power unit. And we'll go ahead and shut this engine down like so. And that will be our flight done, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming on the journey with me for that. And we'll see you again next time.